Hey playa, do you ever feel completely overwhelmed by the amount of things that you have to do and you have absolutely no clue where to begin? It's a pretty common feeling to have, but don't worry. In this video, I'm going to walk you through a few techniques to help calm you down and to help you feel confident about the things that you have to do. As you get older, you may start to feel like your free time is dwindling down and every single day brings more and more new responsibilities. Homework, studying, after-school activities, finding a boyfriend or girlfriend, making time for friends, balancing it all can be super stressful, there's no doubt about it. And one thing I get asked a lot is, how do I manage it all? Is it even possible to juggle all of those things at once and still have time for yourself? Don't worry, this is something I deal with too, and to help myself not feel overwhelmed, what I've started to do is break up my tasks into must-do tasks and could-do tasks. And what I want you to do is to mark down where your priorities fall on those lists. Sometimes everything may feel like it's a priority in that moment, but when you list out your tasks side by side, you start to see what's a priority right then and there and what's a priority for later. And the reason why this technique is so important is because it helps you develop your ability to say no to certain things in the moment. Say for example, you're feeling overwhelmed about having to do your homework, having to clean your room, and having to contact your friends to see what you guys are doing this weekend. Since your homework is due tomorrow, you might end up putting that task in the must-do column and then the other two in the could-do column. Being able to say no in the moment to 2 of the 3 activities on your list allows you to focus on that specific one and helps you deal with feeling overwhelmed that you have to get them all done right now. By moving those 2 tasks over to the other side, they've become less pressing, and what you've done is you've allowed your mind to segment what you have to do so you can focus your time and your energy on it. Now that's not to say just because the items are in the do later column that they're not pressing. The next thing I want you to do is to organize those items in to-do list form. One thing I like to do is to give each task a number ranking, and based on how much energy and time I have throughout the day, I'll set a daily cap on the number I want to hit and do that many tasks throughout the day. So let's say it's a day where I'm really tired and I don't have that much energy. I might give myself 5 points to do throughout the day. I might see that homework is worth 2 points, studying is another 2 points, and doing the dishes is 1 point. So right there, 3 tasks, I have my 5 points for the day. By gamifying these tasks, you take them from being mundane and boring and turn it into somewhat of a puzzle to figure out how you're going to accomplish it throughout the day. Not to mention, by giving yourself a daily cap, you decide what you feel capable of doing that day, and therefore you won't become overwhelmed by the idea of having to do everything. But there's one elephant in the room that we haven't quite talked about, and if we don't address it, then all these techniques fall flat. What I'm talking about is meeting people's expectations. One of the biggest factors leading to you feeling overwhelmed is not being able to meet the expectations of your parents, of your friends, of your school, and of yourself. If you don't get straight A's, you're a failure. If you don't succeed at sports, you're a disgrace. If you don't have a boyfriend or girlfriend, you're a loser. Trying to meet all of these expectations pushes us to reach for an impossible reality. We're never going to get everything we want done. It's just not possible. The thing is, everyone has different opinions and expectations on what they think you can do, but the truth of the matter is that their expectations are actually set on what they think they can actually accomplish. Take for example, you studying hard for a test and still getting a bad grade. If you take it to your parents may say something like, well, if you studied harder, you would have did better. Because their expectations rest on you studying harder, and the reality is that you studied as hard as you could, they're always going to make you feel overwhelmed because they're never taking into account what you actually did. And the truth is, it's impossible for them to ever actually know what's going on in your head. All they can ever do is to ask you what happened and listen. That even goes for the advice I give here on this channel. Sure, I can lay out a 5-step way to do something, but I need to hear from you guys to know how you're interpreting it, what's going on in your life, and how you can make it work for you. That's why I'm always saying to you guys, everything is small steps. Take your time and do things at your own pace. You won't get them done any better or more efficiently if you feel overwhelmed while doing them. So when are expectations good things to have? yourself? Well, I would say when your expectations are realistic. Setting realistic expectations comes down to knowing what you're capable of and accepting the fact that along the way you will make mistakes. That's why you should plan properly by saying no to the things that you don't think you can handle in the moment. Rank what you have to do in order of importance so that you don't burn yourself out. Only reach for your daily quota. And if you slip up and don't get something done or don't do it right, take a second to breathe, to relax, and recalibrate your realistic expectations. Because trying to push yourself through expectations that you don't feel comfortable doing and feel overwhelmed with in the moment will not help you do them any more efficiently. What do you think though? Do you ever feel overwhelmed by what you have to do in the moment? What are some of the things that are looming over your head constantly that you feel like you have to take care of but are just so stressful? Leave your comment below and we'll talk about it. Being overwhelmed is kind of like being in quicksand. The more you struggle to push through it, the deeper you're going to sink. But if you stop for a second and take a deep breath, you'll be able to go back to the drawing board to outline your process so you can successfully not feel overwhelmed and pull yourself out of that quicksand. I know you can do it. As always, guys, love and peace.